Important to work with the temperature rather than the schedule. I think that's more important to note. This stuff doesn't handle high heat very well. And yeah, here's all the parts. Here's the pump. Not a good scene. I'm at the end of all of the modules. I've only got the large lounge suite module for the saloon to go now, so I'm going to have a massive clean-up. I've just moved everything out of my wet room. I've got a brand new tarp to put down on the floor here. You can see here I've got holes in the floor from dragging heavy moles and bloody stands and kayak racks and stuff around. It's time for a clean-out. Usually once a month or so I'll have a massive one-day session. And it's important you do these days because it sets you up for the next level. And my next stage here is a lot of glass sheet laminating on foam core. So got to get nice and neat and tidy because I can't function in this bloody mess I've got. I've got almost an inch of resin stuck on the floor here. So I'm going to put a whole new tarp down over the top and that'll get me a fresh start. So I've moved everything up into my, my forward spray tent. All the machine, the scarfing jig, the compressor, everything that was in here, and now I'm going to lay a whole new tarp down in this room. So this is a separate room, and this is my smaller room where I make my kayaks and make the smaller components. So I've got a fair bit going to go on this year, and it's a new year, so I'm going to get started and start to tidy up a bit. I'm going to get rid of all these empty tins I've got here. They're all empty pretty much apart from half of them. Well, one of them's got half of it in it, but that's about it. My laminating area over here, it's got to all be tidied up. You notice I use cardboard a lot to stop the resin ruining my tables. But yeah, I've got a fairly big space. It's about 8 metres by 4 metres here, so I've got a reasonable space here. And the neater I can keep this place, the better, because then I can sort of move things around. I've got everything on wheels, and yeah, it's basically going to be a good way to get started for the new year. So it's second day back for the new year, and I'm into it. Oh, clean floor, awesome. G'day guys, I'm about to start doing all of the robe partitions. Now they are 12mm foam with 300 and 600 layers on the outside. So 300 CSM and a 600 double bias on each side. So they're pretty substantial, but they're only 12mm, not 20 or 30 like the rest of the boat. But I've set myself up here in my spray booth. I've now got a brand new floor down because I was sick of tripping on chunks of gel coat like this, and I went 10 years that floor's been down. So it's almost like a hospital in here at the moment. It's so clean, look at it. Oh, I love it. It's so nice to have a clean environment for once. So you power along for days, like absolute days and weeks. Just power along and make tons and tons of stuff, and then you get all set up like I just did there, and this shits itself. So it's a day of maintenance. It's the day that I dread every couple of months. What happens is the shaft O-ring seal is like a Delrin washer with springs in it, and it gets gummed up, and it's just unavoidable. You just need to get in there and clean it out, and it's a full tear down of the machine. I'll show you what I'm going to have to tear down here, but it requires a lot of mess, and generally you're in the middle of a spray up. Luckily I hadn't started spraying up these foam core sheets, but the problem with it is it's full of resin. So you're going to deal with resin spewing out of the thing. So you got to make sure you got all your plastic containers and everything ready to catch the debris that's going to come out of it. And then you got to break it down, clean it with acetone, and then reassemble. So it's generally a full day's work. absolutely essential for the ongoing progress. You got to keep going, but yeah, it absolutely shits me. So I don't know whether I've enlightened you before, but this shaft here, you can see how it's got a thread here, is tied to this shaft by this lifting mechanism here that actually actuates up and down. With these small actuators I have here. Now I've had a number of problems with that over the years. I've had to weld new brackets and and actually put new actuators in, which I've been able to buy pretty readily. However, what is happening now is in here, this is actually a lubricant reservoir, so that's got oil in it all the time, and the problem is if that sits for more than around about, a week or so, it gets dust in it, and that then goes down into the shaft, down into the inside of the shaft there, and gums up the nylon or Delrin washers. So what's happening is this pump's going up and down like so, and right up in the top area here there's about two beautiful little Delrin washers with springs that stop the oil getting in and the resin getting out. So that's quite simple. The problem is to get it, I've got to lift this up about a foot off the ground and then start to pull it apart. Now when I undo this, there's likely to be probably about a litre or two of resin come out of this pump, and I'm going to catch it and pour it straight back in my pot because I don't want to waste that. That's that's $20 worth of resin there. You don't want to throw that away, and you just got to make sure you've got everything tuned out and turned off. And then while I'm here, I'm going to service these that are, so you can see some small leaks here, just from pressure. May as well get it clean while I've got it all apart, because that's the next thing that's going to go, and then it'll be a whole nother day servicing the bloody thing. So I'm afraid it's going to get messy. It always does. Remembering I'm trying to save the resin from being lost. So there's one of the seals. Okay, so looking down, this seal here you can see is actually jammed in place, and it's actually gummed in with a heap of resin. There's like a ridge of resin around that holding that in place, and there's another one over here on the shaft. That's my problem. It catches the shaft and makes it jitter. So I've got replacements of those. I'm going to replace them now, and then I'm done. Okay, so you can see that's now clean, but see this crap here? That's actually what's causing my problem. Alright, so I don't know whether you can see it, but down inside there's a heap of crud, and that is what is gumming this shaft. So this now has to be pulled off, and I've just you can't scratch the surface at all, because that's going to increase the ability for particulate to attach to it and obviously block it up. But once I get this shaft out, have a look at how much crap is inside there. I mean, that's the sort of stuff that builds up over time, and that's what maintenance is about, is cleaning that crap out to make sure that shaft is a perfect sealing surface on this, and that's the oil catching dust and probably bits of resin getting caught in there. Okay, so the culprit in all this, see this crap gets caught in these springs. There's no way to clean them out. It's a throwaway, unfortunately. I think they're about $10 each. Ridiculous, but I can't get them from anywhere else other than the manufacturer of the machine. And yeah, here's all the parts. Here's the pump. Not a good scene, but in about a couple of hours I should have it all back together and functioning again. But yep, that's the culprit. It's a replace job, so good to find it now, not in the middle of a spray up of a big job. So we've got the I guess the hydraulic side of the pump, which actions the movement of the resin, but the other part is these air valves. These are AirTac air valve actuators, and basically that pushes the shaft up and down. This one, what comes down, it actually comes down, strikes this little button here. You can see here this has been tapered off and in fact worn down, so I'm going to replace it with a new one. I've ordered a few of these, and I've got a heap of these in stock, so I can just replace it with a brand new one. They're only about, believe it or not, about $2 each, so they're nothing. But what that does, it's totally mechanical. It's got a couple of O-rings in there, and essentially it just tells the pump to reverse its motion. And yeah, these are pretty simple, but you've just got to get them in place and brand new. is the only way to go rather than trying to fix it, because there's no way I'm going to be able to fix that. I think I did fix it once before by filing it, but I'm not going to do that this time. I'm going to chuck it out. Okay, so I've got the old one here and the new one right beside it. It's that simple. It's just got a simple O-ring seal, which looks like that is cactus. That O-ring's absolutely rooted, and so is this one, I fear, so I'm going to have to find an O-ring to fit that. Oh, it actually doesn't look like an O-ring, it's like a little rubber gasket, so I'll just replace that and see how we go. Right, look how smooth that is. That's like the sound of music to me. It's beautiful. It's a thing of beauty when it operates well. But what that was doing before, it was going and it was actually gummed up. So that's as smooth as a baby's bum now. So ready for it. But I think it's about 9 at night. It's been stinking today, so these sheets have got to be done tonight. At least half of them. I'll do the first side tonight, second half in the morning early, and then I don't know, I might go to the beach for the day. It's just too hot, mate. It was at least 45 in the tent today, so important to work with the temperature rather than the schedule. I think that's more important to note. This stuff doesn't handle high heat very well, so you need to keep it within 16 to 30 degrees, no hotter, and it's just unbearable to work in this. So anyway, I'm going to get into it. So I know it's a bit like watching paint dry, but these laminating sessions go on for days. I generally do 3 or 4 days at a time and try to knock off 8 sheets. Being set up for 2 sheets at a time, obviously I'm maximising my efficiency, and I'm nailing 2 at a time. And it generally takes me about an hour and a half to physically lay 2 one-sided sheets, and then I'll leave them overnight or leave them for 3 or 4 hours and flip them over and then come back and do the other side. The peel ply is applied on the outside, so I can leave the surface of these sheets contaminant free until I get to use them. So what I generally do is amass a pile of them and then use them as I need them, and there's plenty of residual waste done after I've actually cut panels out, but that all comes to good use in wardrobes and in shelving and in smaller components when I'm trying to reinforce areas without too much weight. The sheets that I just made, I decided to make the rear cabin bed bunk frames, and those, as you can see here in this picture here, that panel right in the end of the cabin there is what I'm making here, and it actually separates the rear cabin from the engine bay as well. So this suite here, or this bed, actually has the engine underneath it with a lifting hood, I guess you'd call it, or an engine access hatch with struts on it. So I'm able to get these parts in place and get the sizing right so that I can then form the frames. And it's a pleasing part to be able to put something solid in the boat that you're actually making yourself. To date, I don't have any foreign bodies in the boat apart from the timber bulkhead. But by being able to put these in, I can start to see the shape and the structure of the internal parts of the boat, and it's a very, very pleasing thing to knock these off, particularly when it's been so hot too. So I was working in and out of hours and summer, you know, it's a busy time around here, so it was time for a bit of a rest and head off for a day at the cricket, the one-day international against India, and luckily we had a win, so I'll put a bit of that on the end there. So don't forget to subscribe, guys, if you're keen on watching the rest of this build, and please like the video. I really appreciate it. Thanks, guys. Bye. So we've driven 3 hours north to the smoke, and we're going to go to the cricket for the day. Got to do our once a year cricket pilgrimage, don't we, Dylan?
We do.
Yeah. Let's go. Got my war paint on. Where's yours, Jan? Why ain't you got your war paint on? Going to smash India today. Got to. Well, this is very civilised, don't you think?
Not so bad, but so is the lady.
The ladies around this side, isn't it? It's very civilised. We got in like 3 hours early. Look, there's no one here. Sam and Maria have done a runner for the tickets, so, and he's calling me now, so I better go.
I just still think it's still scary. I don't.
He's videoing.
Don't hide, Samo.
It's just a very YouTube.
Sam's hiding his new haircut.
Make sure your tickets are barcode up and have your bags ready for inspection. Move right across
It's the religion of cricket in Sydney in summer. It's 40 degrees today. It's a stinker. Look at the people here. It's sold out, isn't it, today? Lead away, mate. Take me to the beer. Here we are. Here in the infamous Bradman bar. No glass today for you guys. The dishwasher's broken.
I'm sure the beer will taste just as good.
It will, done for sure. Oh yeah? Is he Indian?
I understand why the stickers used to be, you couldn't actually rip them off the seat without the really
Oh, Jesus, that was close. Help. How's the day been, buddy?
Close.
Big drinking?
Yeah.
Big drinking day for Sam.
Yeah, it's still big. Sorry, I was looking.
How's the day been, Jen? A few wines. Maria? They're all been drinking